The next Double Rates banner is on its way to Global Dokkan, but is it worth dipping into that sweet anniversary savings fund? How's it, everybody? Celtic Link here. We're back for another Dokkan battle video. In today's video, we have a new banner on its way, and it's time for us to determine whether or not we should spend our hard-earned Dragon Stones on the upcoming Rising Dragon Carnival for the STR Super Saiyan Goku and Z Fighters from the Plan to Eradicate the Saiyans OVA. As always, we are going to take a look at three big factors to determine whether or not we should summon for this character. Number one, we'll look at the unit itself, see what they do, and determine whether or not that warrants a summon. We will also take a look at the banner itself, see how the banner looks, and if that is worthy of a summon as well. And then finally, we will look ahead. What banners are coming soon to Global Dokkan, and whether or not we should be spending stones there or here for this character. So, without further ado, let's go ahead, let's jump in, let's take a look at the unit itself. We have the Earth-Shaking Immense Power Super Saiyan Goku. Yes, I know the other Z Fighters are there, but it is just a Super Saiyan Goku. He is a Battle of Wits, category key 3, HP attack and defense 200%. That's really good. I'm just going to throw that out there. Battle of Wits is actually a pretty decent category. It covers basically all Vegetos. It covers Piccolos, covers certain Vegetas, and it does cover quite a few Super Saiyan Gokus, so it's a pretty decent category, all things considered, and it's a mission for the Ultimate Red Zone Cell Max. So if this is something you haven't completed yet, summoning for this guy, not only being on the category, but to lead directly the category mission is very, very helpful. So something to consider as we move forward. On his 12 key super attack, he's raising attack and defense for 1 turn, causing colossal damage to the enemy and greatly lowering defense. He is raising attack and defense for 1 turn, causing mega colossal damage, and raising superclass allies by 50% attack for 1 turn on his 18 key. So super attack, all in all, is a pretty decent effect. This guy does, I mean, we'll see in his passive here, but he kind of does want to be run in slot 2, so he'll at least be raising his attack on his 18 key, and if you proc the additional, he'll get the boost, as well as boosting the 3rd slot. If you're lucky, you can throw him in slot 1, depending on where the attacks fall for that turn, but realistically, you're probably going to be running him mostly for the buff for the 3rd slot, just because of the kind of the way his passive works. His passive gives him key 5, attack defense 150%. He's giving superclass allies key 2 and defense 50%. He reduces damage received by 30%. He has an additional attack and defense 15% with each attack received, up to 75%. He gets key 2 starting from the turn in which he receives the 5th attack in battle and foresees enemy super attack within the character's attacking turn from the next turn onward after the character receives the 10th attack in battle, plus an additional attack 50% and launching an additional super attack when activating the active skill or when key is 24. So all in all, his passive is really designed for him to be taking hits, but I mean realistically taking normals, right? This guy, unless post super attack, isn't really going to be taking supers all that well, and even then that's only if he procs the additional super, which is not that difficult to do, especially if you're actually able to continuously proc the 24 key, and if you're running him around other Super Saiyans, like the Super Saiyan Gohan, for example, the one that's about to get an easy A, it's actually not that hard to do, all things considered. And on the categories you're going to be running this guy on, like, there's enough Rainbow Orb Changers to make that viable, right? Whether you're running Pure Saiyans, Goku's Family, Connected Hope, Bond of Parent and Child, all of these characters have good Rainbow Orb Changers that will easily take care of that 24 key for you with him. Plus, you know, he is giving key and he's getting his own key through his passive, so like with the LR Gods or the LR Super Saiyan 4s, it's not going to be too difficult to get his 24 key. The interesting thing about his passive is the build-up on his damage reduction. While he does have the 30% and he is gaining up to 75 percent extra attack and defense, it's really, as I said, not enough to tank any major supers. He'll be, I mean, he will live the super, don't get me wrong, right? Like, if he takes a full-blown super from the Broly, he might live, right? Especially if he procs the second super on his active skill turn, maybe the third if you've got him invested in additionals, but, you know, he's mostly designed to be your slot 2 unit supporting the rest of the rotation, realistically, especially when you consider that, like, before he's fully built up, right, the guy's got to take 10 attacks, which can happen, right? But, you know, really, it's kind of hard to do, especially in shorter events like the Metal Cooler Core. So just things to consider when getting this guy ready. But all in all, he's still a really, really good unit. He's powerful enough to warrant a slot on any team. He's super strong, right? You look at his stats at max here, right? He's 20,000 attack. He's got 14,000 defense. He is strong enough. He's going to be fine. You got to watch out for those supers. That's pretty much it, right? On his active skill, he's raising attacks temporarily and causing ultimate damage to the enemy within the turn activated, and all attacks become critical hits and giving key 5 for the turn. So very, very helpful. You could really have some fun play with that active skill because the extra key it's going to give is going to be a huge benefit to the entire rotation, right? Like, you imagine the turn where, but if you're running, say, Goku's family, for example, or Kamehameha, even under the 180 lead of the Gohan who's about to get his, you run that active skill, you get the extra key for Gohan, plus everything else that he's doing, plus what Gohan's doing, because it's Super Saiyan Goku. Like, you've got a pretty sick turn for both of these guys. Like, nothing's living that turn, essentially. So he's a good character. He's going to pair a lot with other good characters with his Link skill because he is a Super Saiyan Goku, and Super Saiyan Gokus typically all have the general same Link set, right? They'll have Golden Warrior, Saiyan Warrior Race, Saiyan, Super Saiyan, Kamehameha, Prepared for Battle, Fierce Battle, Legendary Power. So very, very similar Link set to, like, the Gohan, the Namek Goku, the Berku, all share very, very similar Link sets. So all in all, I would say for the character, if you've got the stones, this is almost a must summon, especially because now that we know on JP, it doesn't appear that this guy is on the Part 2 Carnival banner, which means for Global, the next chance to pull this guy is more than likely going to be Worldwide Celebration. So you can wait till then, but if you plan on summoning on the Part 2 banners for JP's anniversary for the LR Z Fighters and the LR Kai Fighters, it may be too late by then. You may not have the stones left over because Worldwide is so close to 7th anniversary. So I'd almost say if you've got the stones now, because the character is so good, it may be worth a summon for you. So that is one in the category for summon for the character, because the character is that good and a benefit to a lot of teams and helpful to several missions to complete in the Ultimate Red Zone, especially because STR characters for a while were pretty lacking. So the next thing we have to look at is the banner itself. In typical legendary summon banner fashion, the banner is pretty horrible. Unfortunately, despite the fact that it is a 3-featured LR banner and it is a Rising Dragon Carnival banner, I'd argue it's actually worse than the Zamasu banner, which was already pretty rough. It's not that good, right? I mean, the LR Gohan, he could be coming up on an Easy A within the year, but I wouldn't go out of my way to get him right now. These guys are still pretty good, especially on a few of the 200% teams that they have access to. The only problem is those teams require a lot of key management, and these guys need a lot of key. So, but they're still pretty good. And it's always fun to proc his revive and then just watch him go to town on whatever event he's in. So, the LRs are all right. I would say the saving grace to the banner is this guy right here, the STR Piccolo. This dude, if you do not have him and you're able to pick him up on this banner, or shoot, I mean, if you've already got Berku and Cooler, you know, picking them up for 200 coins in the coin shop, probably not a bad deal either. Like, this Piccolo is just that good. I would say he's more versatile a unit than God Goku is, the Tech God Goku EZA, who is already pretty good. This guy is more versatile because he can swap around to a lot of different teams, right? He's on Fused Fighters, he's on Movie Heroes, he's on Battle of Wits. That's pretty good. This guy is on here, this Tech Goku. He's actually getting an EZA in this celebration, a sub EZA, I think, and he's all right. He'll help with other World Warrior missions, but otherwise, realistically, I mean, these are all unfeatured banner units. Like, you'll pull them eventually if you're summoning. So, I mean, I don't necessarily know that you should go out of your way to get any of them, except maybe this guy. So I'm going to have to go no in the category of summon, given the banner. The banner's just not that good when you compare it to future banners coming ahead. So that's one in the category for the character, no in the category for the banner. So what we need to do now to determine whether or not we should continue to summon is to look at what's to come, starting with the next most likely Dokkan Festival, which will either be one of two characters. It will either be this Dokkan Festival Yamcha, or it will be, where is he? This Dokkan Festival Bardock. One of these two banners is going to be next. If I had to place my bets, though, given who's on Bardock's banner, the Majin Vegeta and the Broly, I'm going to go ahead and place my bets and say that Yamcha is next. Simply because these two guys are going to show up on Saiyan Day, which is going to be in the second half of next month. So the first half, I'm going to take a guess and say Yamcha is most likely to be next, followed by whatever the Saiyan Day banner is. Now, Yamcha's banner is a typical 7-unit Dokkan Fest banner. Nothing too crazy here unless you didn't have Ginyu. Yamcha himself is really good. We'll go more in detail about him and Yajirobe, but, you know, not the greatest coming forward. The big thing coming forward is going to be this here. This was last year's Saiyan Day banner, and if history is to repeat itself, we're going to see some pretty good things on here, right? We're going to see whoever the new unit is plus their banner unit. Fingers crossed for a new God Goku, but more than likely we will see this guy returning. We're going to see these guys returning. The Vegeta and Trunks will be returning on this banner. Broly will definitely most likely be on the banner, along with these guys as well, right? The Tech Gogeta. And then maybe the Bardock, the previous Saiyan Day units. Actually, all of these guys, up to him, were all Saiyan Day units. So expect to see these guys on here too, and then whoever else to fill out the last 2 slots that match the theme of the celebration. Like, it might be like a UI Goku or something here, or do we have any? We don't have any Dokkan Fest God Gokus, do we? Yeah, so it might just be some Goku or Beerus related character if it is a God Goku. It'll be something related to the celebration, but more than likely, if you were to summon on a Dokkan Festival banner in the future, I'd say Saiyan Day would be it, simply because the Saiyan Day banners don't return that often. They pretty much return like 3 times a year, right? Halloween banner, Xmas banner, the New Year's banner, the New Year's Step Up, and then Saiyan Day banner. That's pretty much the 3 times a year they return. So for global at least, JP they're a little more lucky and throwing around these Saiyan Day banners, but given that, probably a good chance that this would be the better Dokkan Festival to summon, given how sporadically the characters come back. Following this guy, we are more than likely going to see the Bardock or a global first in April, simply because in April we would normally get the New Year's Festival, but we shared that with the Gohan and the Piccolo this year, so April's completely open for global right now. In May, we are more than likely to see, where is it here? I've got them here. The Golden Week banners. So last year it was, not that. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Super Saiyan Goku, right? So last year it was the Goku and the Cell. We don't know what this year could be. It could be anything, but if you're somebody who liked the way Golden Week is set up and you like the Golden Week units and have in the past, this may be something worthy of considering, especially because they do tend to return some pretty good LRs on these banners. Like, now that I actually think about it, knowing that this Gohan and Cell got their EZA during this during the New Year's and are getting it now in Global, this is actually a pretty good deal for a lot of people, because I know a lot of people were complaining about picking up a bunch of copies of this guy, the Gohan. Now I don't think they're complaining as much, so all things considered, they weren't that bad of banners, and they still are pretty darn useful in most modern content. They've, for me at least, have cleared most of the red zones and difficult events, so they are good characters. I imagine this year's will be just as good, if not better, given how 8th anniversary is going. Which brings us to the last known banners we have coming. We have no idea what will be in June. It'll be whatever the banner is after 8th anniversary on JP, but we don't know what that is for now, so just expect that's what it to be. But know that in July we will be getting this banner and this banner right here. Two of the best banners in Dokkan history for the 8-year anniversary LRs. Not only do these banners include the 7-year LRs, they also include the worldwide celebration LRs with the Cooler and the AGL Super Saiyans, who still have a really good leader skill, along with the Dokkan Festival Gammas. So all in all, these are actually some really, really solid banners. And the 8-year anniversary LRs are some of the best. No, actually, they are the best units in the game currently. Like, number 1 and number 2, hands down, for Dokkan Festival LRs. So, realistically, you should be in saving mode at this point. Given all the banners that are coming forward, you would want to spend your stones probably in less places than you would on one of these two banners. So we've got 1 in the category for the character and 2 no for the banners and for what's to come. So normally what I would do when we have a split, we don't have a full 3-way in one direction, I would give a tiered recommendation. But instead I'm going to give a slightly different recommendation this time, right? I'm still gonna say, if you've got 800 stones or more, have at it. Throw a couple stones, leave yourself some for Saiyan Day. But what I am gonna say is that I have just shown you all of the banners that are coming. You should be in saving mode for 8-year anniversary, because it doesn't get much better than that. And the Part 2 banners are just as good, being the Carnival LRs that they're going to include. So I'm going to go ahead and say that you should be in saving mode, and unless you have more than 800 stones, you should pretty much stay away from this banner, despite how good the Super Saiyan Goku is. Simply because, I'm telling you from experience, I spent 1,500 stones on those banners on JP, and did not pull the units, and you don't want to be in that position. I'm telling you right now, you do not want to find yourself in that position. So my recommendation is to save as much as you can and pick one of the banners coming up that you would prefer to summon on, because you don't want to miss out on everything, right? Pick one of the banners you would prefer to summon on and decide that's where you're going to spend your stones, but don't spend any more to leave yourself with less than 500. That'll be my recommendation for this upcoming Double Rates banner. So if you're choosing to summon on it, don't spend anything more that would leave you with less than 500 stones, simply because of everything that is coming here soon. I did want to add one last thing here. If you are a pay-to-play, low-to-play player, thanks to the Data Download and Proton 10MG for sharing the assets, we do have Rising Dragon Carnival tickets. So if you're a pay-to-play, low-to-play player, you want to summon on this banner, this may be the best place to do it. Spend your tickets, save your stones, right? That's for you pay-to-play, low-to-play players. So that's going to be my recommendation. That's going to be what to watch out for. Again, more than 800 stones. Go ahead, have at it. Spend a few. But otherwise, you should be saving for the 8-year anniversary banners, because they will treat you probably far better than this Double Rates banner will, at least in my opinion. So, anyways, guys, that is the video. If you like the video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And in the comments down below, let me know, do you plan on summoning for the Super Saiyan Goku and the Z Fighters from the Plan to Eradicate the Saiyans movie? Kind of hyped for this. I'll probably do tickets and a few hundred stones, but other than that, I, like you, will be saving for the 8-year anniversary. So, anyways, guys, if nothing else, Thanks for watching, and aloha.